Hi y'all, this is House Guest and I am your host, Kenzie Elizabeth. Think a Gen Z wannabe Martha Stewart meets Dolly Parton trying to live in a Nancy Meyers movie in her 20s. We talk all about life, relationships, navigating your 20s, closing out the bars, or waking up at 5 a.m. depending on our vibe that week. Ultimately, living our best lives and figuring it out along the way. So come hang out. Sometimes I have guests on who do really cool things, some of my best friends, or it's just me and my house that I spend way too much time in. So let's get into the show. We are recording with the queen, Hannah CHODY. I actually did come prepared with a Hannah CHODY starter pack, okay? Brett and Elle's sister, Dante's mom, Bronx owner, Garrett Popcorn, Goldman Sachs. Can you actually give us what one of the job titles was?
I was a VP and I was doing electronic sales and trading strategy for FIC execution services.
Literally no idea what that means.
Yeah, I love a day drinking moment.
Love that.
I'll go to lunch and we'll spritz at lunch. But like, I want to be in bed at 9. I read Fourth Wing and Avatar last summer and it changed my life.
I want to talk about like fashion, products, jewelry, everything.
Let's do it.
If he wanted to, he would. Hi, house guests. Welcome back to the show. This week, we are in Austin, Texas, and we are recording with the queen, Hannah CHODY.
Hi.
This is our second CHODY sister, actually.
I love that.
Third, if you count Macy, which she would count herself as one.
Okay, period. Macy's welcome.
Macy, she's going to love that. She's going to clip that for herself.
Hi, Macy.
Macy is obsessed with the CHODY sisters. Like, that's how I originally was introduced to Brett and then you. It was really through Macy because Macy's followed Brett for so long. And you guys are just like, she thinks you guys are just the most fab people ever. And then we're both like now on the train.
I love that.
I'm
honored.
She definitely wants to be the fourth CHODY sister. So if you could just like let her have that because like she needs it.
She can introduce herself as Macy CHODY.
Oh my God, she would die to do that.
That'd be funny. That should be our next bit.
Yeah, actually. No, you guys market yourself as like the Kardashians. You guys are kind of like the Kardashian sisters of TikTok, if you think about it.
I mean, I love that. Like, that baffles me, but I'll take it.
Obsessed?
I mean, it's an honor.
Would you guys do a reality show?
I mean, I never say never to anything.
I think that'd be kind of good for the family business, which is Garrett's Popcorn.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Popcorn Princesses.
No, that would actually be so good. You guys should really consider.
Okay.
We should like shop this around.
Yeah.
It's
Bravo, call me.
Actually. Okay, I actually don't even know where to begin with you. I actually did come prepared with a Hannah CHODY starter pack, okay?
Beautiful.
I'm going to list some things off. You let me know how you feel about this.
All right.
We have wedding. Insane. She had the most insane wedding you've ever seen. If you guys haven't seen, you need to go look at that, okay? Goldman Sachs, Brett and Elle's sister, Dante's mom, Bronx owner, Garrett Popcorn, Aperol Spritz enthusiast, wife of Chad.
You covered it.
I feel like that's perfect.
Yeah.
White t-shirts.
White t-shirts and jeans.
Yeah.
The
Spicy
formula.
Dan.
Love Spicy Dan.
Love Spicy Dan.
If you guys haven't gotten a Spicy Dan necklace, you're missing out.
I almost wore mine today, but I felt like that would be a little too try hard.
I meant to, but I had to shoot something before I was here and I forgot it at home. I meant to wear my Dante.
Literally love. I met her like at Cowboy not that long ago. She's everything.
She's amazing.
She's incredible.
A great human.
Spicy Dan has a really cute jewelry line.
Shout out.
If you guys are listening and you're like, what the fuck are these girls talking about?
Really cute beaded jewelry.
Yeah, very cute. Anyways, we have so many things that we can cover.
Let's do it.
I honestly, I really don't even know where to begin. Currently, you are living in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
With your husband and your dog, Dante.
Yep. And I'm in my Texas era.
You are in your
Texas
Texas era. Yeah, how's that going?
Austin's great. It's such a fun city. There's so many transplants here. I have kind of a mix of friends who grew up here and people who moved from like New York and LA. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a great crowd, like really good energy from all the people who live here. I think it took me a year. Like I would say it's like 9 to 12 months, honestly, to really love it because I was such a New York girl.
Yeah.
And lived in New York for most of my adult life. So I was a little bit reluctant to leave New York, but I love it here now. And like, we're going to be here for the foreseeable future.
We got dinner last night and we were just talking about moving, how there's a weird adjustment period.
Yeah.
And someone told me when I was really young and I just moved to LA, take this timeline with a grain of salt, but she said, your first year, you love it. It's a honeymoon phase. Your second year, you're just kind of all over the place. You feel a little lost. You're like, what the fuck did I just do?
It's not special anymore.
Yeah, all the newness is worn off. And then your third year is when you really find your people. And I don't really feel like the years or the timeline is necessarily true. I think it's more so like the phase of moving.
Absolutely. Like those can be lengthened, shortened, whatever. But I think that is really how it goes. Because I think once like the newness is worn off, like I didn't know anyone when I moved here. And so it was really fun in the beginning. But then I was like, I need to hang out with people that aren't just my husband. Like,
yeah,
damn. And then that's when it kind of hit me that I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? And then I would say a little after, I'd say at like a year and a half is when I met my like best friends.
And how did you meet those people?
I met a couple at like events. I met one through social media. Then I met a few others like through friends that I had already made. Mm-hmm. And it kind of just evolves and you kind of find your people within those like groups of people that you've met. But I always say like all you need is one friend.
I say that too.
Like you go to events with them, you go to a class with them, and like don't be afraid to say hi to people. Like I am like quite shy in that regard. Like I don't like to go up to people and be like, hi, like I've seen you here before. But I've never thought it was weird when someone did it to me. I'm like, oh my God, so great to meet you.
Yeah. I think it's actually a relief when someone does it to you because it's like, God, I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah. And like zero judgment. Like I'm like, oh, everyone's going to think I'm a freak if I say hi to them. But like I've never thought that when someone said hi to me, double standard.
I think too, like your best friend, especially in your in adulthood in general, I think it's someone that you meet through a friend that you met through another friend that you met through another friend.
Yeah.
Like you have to
and you just like connect.
Yes. You have to put yourself out there and like continue to like show up at different places and know that the first people that you meet are probably not going to be your best friends in the entire world, but they might introduce you to your absolute best friend. So you have to like keep trying. Friendships in your like adult years, especially in your 20s, are just like weird. 20s specifically, just because in your 30s, 40s, if you choose to have kids, at least you're in a structure that is around people that are...
it's conducive to meeting new people.
Yeah, and your 20s, everyone's all over the place. Half of everyone's having kids.
No one knows what they're doing.
No one knows. They're all over the place. There's really just no structure for your 20s.
Yeah, it's a lot of stages of life. And I also think like if you meet someone once and you haven't seen them, but like you connected with them at like an event or at a coffee shop or something, like DM them or something and just be like, hey, do you want to like go to Pilates together? Or like, do you want to grab a drink sometime? That's just an easy way that you can talk to them for an hour and like you can kind of decide like, okay, is this someone that like I connected with?
And it's
you never
easy
know.
too if it's like in your routine. It's not like you're like changing a ton of stuff.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's low lift, if you will.
Yeah.
What was your experience in your 20s? Like, did you like your 20s?
I did. I loved my 20s, but at the same time, like working in finance, I don't think that I got the most out of my 20s. I think that's why like internally, like I don't act like I'm 25, but I still feel like I'm 25 personally. Like I would go to work so early in the morning. By the time I like came home, I was like, I don't want to go to dinner with anyone. Like I just want to like go to bed. And so I think that even though I like lived in New York and it was like so fun, I didn't embrace my 20s as much as I could have. But believe me, like I had a lot of fun in college. Like I don't regret any of it, but like I was not one like going out all the time in my 20s.
Yeah, you were a little busy. You were booked and busy.
I was busy, but in a good way. Like I don't like to go out late at night or anything. So honestly, it was probably for the best.
No, I like a nice like 9 p.m. in bed moment.
Yeah.
I like day drinking.
I love a day drinking moment.
Love that.
I'll go to lunch and we'll spritz at lunch. And like, we can have an afternoon. But like, I want to be in bed at 9. My Hatch alarm clock like has a thing, like my red light goes on at 9 p.m. and there's a sound bath summoning me.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So it's not really my thing. Like I'm not out until 3 a.m. anymore.
Yeah, no, never.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the transitions that you've made in your life in your 20s, because you had like a real like big girl, very serious job.
Yes.
And you were on a completely different trajectory than where you are now. And a lot of people who listen to this podcast, a lot of like my girls are really wanting to change almost everything about their lives in their 20s.
I get it.
Their careers, where they're at. And I feel like a lot of the time, like you think about like, what is it, sunken cost fallacy, where you're afraid to make a change because of all the years that you've invested into whatever that might be. And I think that like really just every day that goes on where you're doing something that you know is not yours is just another day wasted.
Yeah, you're digging yourself in a deeper hole.
Yes, exactly. So can you talk a little bit about, you really made the change?
Yes. So I studied business and finance in college and knew that I wanted to go into the finance world, worked at Goldman Sachs like immediately after college and like grinded. Like I, got my promotions, like did everything I had to do. And then I kind of just got to a point where I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I thought I wanted this big fancy job and it was so amazing. And I learned so much. I met like the smartest people in the world, but it just got to the point where I was like, do I want to like, I just got my latest promotion. Like, do I just want to like start this cycle all over again and like continue to grind? Like I wasn't passionate about it anymore. And I luckily I talked to my parents, like my family business is Garrett Popcorn. And I was in a strategic role at Goldman. And I was like, I think that I can like come on to Garrett, like from a strategic lens, kind of like lead corporate strategy, if you will. And very soon after I got burnt out at Goldman, I was like, I'm done. Once I make a decision, I'm like, I have to move quickly or else I'm going to get stuck in this position.
I'm the exact same way.
And so I left and obviously like I went to my family business. It wasn't a huge risk, but like it was a complete career shift. And I think that everyone that I know that's made career shifts, like no matter how late in life, like hasn't regretted them. And like it's scary. And a lot of times like you might have to, you know, go down a few pegs like on the corporate ladder or something. But like the longer you spend in the wrong role, that's the longer it's going to take for you to get to the right role.
I think a lot of it comes down to identity too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people find a lot of identity in like what they do.
Oh, 100%.
So it makes it way harder to change.
Yeah. Like there's definitely like an ego element. And like, I loved having like the big fancy Goldman job, you know?
Can you actually give us what one of the job titles was? Like, I know you had a couple of jobs there.
Yes. So when I quit, I was a VP and I was doing electronic sales and trading strategy for FIC execution services.
Literally no idea what that means.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it, guys.
But that's what I mean. Like she had a very big girl job.
Yeah. And like you work with a lot of important people and like it's fancy and people ask what you do and you're like, I work at Goldman Sachs, like, woo. But like you can't let that define you. I think that a lot of people let their jobs define them. And like, in a way it does, but also like your career isn't like the only part of you. And like, if you have other passions, like it's worth pursuing, even for fun on the side. And like, you never know where it could take you.
Absolutely. I love old people. Like I'm obsessed with them. My For You page is like all grandmas. Like my followers are always sending me accounts and they're like, you would love Jane. It's like a 7-year-old who's like giving advice in her 70s.
Wait,
like,
I'm obsessed.
But I love learning from them because they obviously have lived so much more life than us.
Yes.
And that's one of the first things that they always say is like, don't waste your time on something that you absolutely hate. And if you feel like you need to leave something, like leaving it tomorrow is too late. Like you're just wasting more and more time.
Yeah.
And I think like, obviously with having like the family business, obviously that gives you a safety net. But I think regardless, like any of my friends that have shifted out of their careers and made complete life changes, none of them have regretted it ever.
Yeah. I mean, you might have to kind of start building over again, if you will, but you'll get to a point where you're happier than you were in your prior career if you're making the switch that's like actually authentic to you. It's just like you don't want to look back and be like, wow, I really grinded at that job I hated for 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Like I was at the point I was like, what else am I getting out of this? Like it's on my resume. Like what am I doing? You can always go back. Like
yeah, that's very true.
There's a lot of people who leave companies and then come back after a year. You know, you never know.
Totally fine. Should we talk a little bit about your wedding?
I'd love to. Because my favorite topic.
Your wedding was the most insane thing I have ever seen.
Thank you.
Did you grow up thinking like I'm going to have the best wedding in the world?
No, but I have always been like so passionate about fashion, about design, about like, I'm just a bit of a perfectionist and just really cool events. And like, I remember being super young and watching like my super Sweet 16 on MTV and being like, I want a crazy Sweet 16. And my parents were like, no, like never. But it was just like something that when I saw like weddings, I don't know, like People magazine or something like growing up, like I thought that it was so interesting, but I never like dreamed of what my wedding would be until I was probably like a few years into dating Chad.
At what point, let's go backwards and talk about meeting Chad, starting to date, because you did something that's like actually very off brand, I feel, for you. And you met your husband at like 22.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
It's actually kind of really crazy, especially the fact that you were in New York. So can you take us through that?
Yeah, so I met Chad a few weeks after I ended training at Goldman. He is like 2 years ahead of me in like school. So he had already been there for 2 years at that point, and he just introduced himself to me one day. And
Did he like think you were cute? Like was that what he was doing?
He knew who I was because like they kind of like fill you in on like who's new that's coming. And so he already like knew who I was. And so he recognized me. And so he came up and introduced himself, like not in a weird way, just like very friendly. But it was one of my first days like on the desk. And I was so scared that like I don't even remember this interaction. Like I don't know that it was Chad who said hi to me that day. I still remember a random person coming up and saying hi, but like gun to my head, I could not have told you that was Chad. And like my friend was on his team. Chad and I did not work together. And so I actually like met him in terms of me remembering meeting him a few months later. And then like we had a great time like as a group that night. And then a couple like months after that, he asked me to sushi, and the rest is literally history. It's crazy. I thought that he was like really fun and like I liked his personality a lot like before we ever went out. But like I never thought that like that's my husband until like a few months into dating. And I was like, wait, he's like the best person I've ever met.
That's so cute.
I know. It's really tender.
How long did you guys date?
We were dating nearly 5 years before we got engaged.
Okay.
Yes.
How long were you guys engaged?
A year and a half.
I feel like a year and a half is still not that long to plan that wedding.
Yeah, it was like 19 months to the day almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the wedding planning process.
Let's do it.
At what point did you decide to have the most insane wedding? Like,
I knew I wanted to get married in Lake Como. Like, that was like my number one spot. We looked at other spots, but I was like, I just really, like, Lake Como's it for me. We had been there. We loved it. I remembered, like, from the very first time I went to Lake Como, like, this insane villa on the lake that I thought was, like, the prettiest villa I'd ever seen, which is where we ended up getting married, Villa Balbiano. And so I got my parents on board with it, and they were like, you know that, like, you might have a 50-person wedding. Like, there's a really high chance no one's going to come. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I really want to do Lake Como. Like, we love it. We both love Italy. Like, we loved Italy before we met. We love Italy together. And it was in 2022 and everyone was excited to travel. So it ended up being 190 people.
Wow.
Which is insane.
That's crazy.
We were like 150 max. There's no way we get over 150. And like people just kept saying yes, which it was perfect. Like it was so much fun.
Wow. What was your favorite part of the wedding?
I mean, obviously, like the fashion moments were all very important to me, but I think that just the vibe of the actual wedding day and like the reception itself was so special. Like it was very guest focused. Like I wanted everyone there to be like, that was the most fun night of my life. Like, so it wasn't even, because it's obviously about the couple, but I didn't want everything to be like so couple focused. I wanted it to just feel like the most fun party. And we really accomplished that. Like, people were constantly dancing, like whipping their napkins around, like in and out of their seat, dancing during dinner and stuff like that. And so I just wanted like the energy really high throughout the entire night. And that's what happened.
I mean, I think if I'm a wedding guest at a Lake Como wedding, like it would probably be the best night of my life.
Yeah. Like I don't love like a long dinner. Like I was like, I don't want any time for people to get tired or like a snooze fest or too long of speeches or anything like that. I was like, this is a party first and foremost.
No, I mean, it was actually the most insane wedding ever.
It was a lot of fun. Perfect. I wish we could relive it.
It's so good. And then your sister got married.
Yes, my sister got married this past summer.
And that was another insane wedding.
Yeah. I mean, we got Brett, pressure's on.
I know, like Brett has a lot to live up to.
I know. Like big weddings are just really fun. And I think that when they're done right, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone, but it was for me.
Yeah. And you did it very well.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the CHODY sisters. Like what's the dynamic between you all three?
So I'm the oldest, and then Elle is 2.5, 3 years younger than I am. And Brett and I are 8 years apart, like to the day almost.
Crazy.
Both Virgo queens. And it's so funny because Brett and I being so far apart, like we had no interest in each other, like basically until she went to college because we were just in such different places in our lives. So Elle and I grew up very close to one another. And now we're all like super close. I would say like we're always like talking to one or the other or in the group chat. Like, you know, we're very clued into each other's lives, but we live like all over the country. Elle and I were together in New York for a while, but now it's me here in Austin, Brett in LA, Elle in New York. Like we're all over the place, but it's a really fun dynamic still. And like, it's fun when we all get to be together, even though it doesn't happen as much as like we'd like to. We're all kind of just busy, quite frankly. But it's really fun and we're all super close.
I feel like you guys have such a sweet relationship, but I also think, I mean, I obviously don't know Elle, but I feel like you're all like very like independent, strong women. Like, did you get that from your mom?
Yeah. Like, I feel like my mom like really instilled that in us. Like, there was no bullshit. There wasn't quitting anything. Like there wasn't relying on my parents for anything. Like my mom wasn't one of those parents. Like if I had something like going on at school that like I disagreed with, like she wouldn't like go to bat for me. She was like, you need to figure it out yourself. And I really appreciate that because I really learned how to advocate for myself like very young. And I did that all through college. And like that was also obviously super helpful being in like a male dominated field for my job.
Yeah.
Like I was never intimidated by people who were, you know, more senior than I was, because it was always just like, you need to learn how to speak to adults. You need to learn how to advocate for yourself, like be assertive and like not let people walk all over you. And also just like there was a high standard that we were held to in terms of like our performance in school and stuff. So I just feel like we were quite like, not overly disciplined. Like I got myself into a fair amount of trouble in high school, but like just very well-rounded, I think. And I think that we all had different experiences, obviously, growing up, just like birth order and like Brett being Brett was basically an only child for so much of her life, like being so much younger. So like there was definitely different experiences, but we all kind of had like the same values instilled in us.
Oh, it's very sweet. She did a great job. Also, she makes the best cookies.
Yeah, she is a cookie queen.
A cookie queen. I was like doing all of her recipes this
I know,
winter.
like literally
my friends. So viral.
I know, it's so funny. My friends like in high school, even before high school, like would come over and be like, can your mom make cookies? Or like, I need to come over for cookies. My mom would like bring cookies to people at school. She'd bring me like a tray of cookies to like distribute at lunch.
Aww.
I know.
So she's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Like
she's not an overnight success.
She has been making like her oatmeal chocolate chip cookies like for as long as I can remember, same recipe.
Wow.
Insane.
No, she's very talented. Let me tell you. Brett's always sharing the recipes. They're very good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like fashion products, jewelry, everything.
Let's do it.
Because that is just like you have the best taste.
Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. Because like there's a lot of people who are into fashion, but like you kind of question their decisions. And so like when people say I have good taste, I think it's like a really great compliment.
You're like,
that makes me feel good.
It's my favorite thing people say about me. Okay, where are you shopping these days?
I do most of my shopping online, to be honest. It's like the My Teresa, Net-a-Porter, Moda pipeline. Like those are like my favorites just for multi-brand experiences. But I love like Reformation, I think does a great job. I think that I am like a basics girl through and through with like an interesting twist or pop and stuff like that. So I love just like really great jeans. I think Still Here makes really good jeans. I don't know if you've tried theirs. Like
no,
they have really cool ones. They're the ones with like the drawstring jean that a lot of the girlies have. And they just have some really great silhouettes. Have you been to AA Vintage in Dallas?
Okay.
You need to go.
I walked in once, like I didn't have time, but I need to. This is a place in Dallas.
I'll DM her like when you want to go and she'll like look out for you because we're tight now.
Macy went there once and had like the best experience of her life. But you walk into this like vintage shop in Dallas and she looks at you and goes, amazing. And just gives you all these jeans and they all fit you perfectly.
Guys, she's a witch. Like it's insane. She's like, spin around. Okay. And like now she knows me. So I'm like, I'm coming and she'll like already have stuff pulled for me. And like, they fit like a glove. Like it's actually insane. And she's like, I pulled this pair because this is going to be like a good slouch for you. And I'm like, even the ones that are like oversized, like are perfectly oversized. It's actually insane. And if you guys are ever in Dallas or if you live in Dallas, like it's definitely worth going.
I need to go.
Vintage.
It's right by like my townhouse used to be over there. Like I used to live right there.
It's such a cute area.
It's so cute. It's on Knox. It's like Knox Henderson area.
Yes. And so I have been really into vintage denim. And then just like this Lisette Margot tee, great tee. Shop Bop is really good stuff too. I'm not a Revolve girly personally, but like I can respect Revolve.
Yeah.
Like what they do is great.
I love Reformation. I'm like really
Reformation like has really good moments.
Oh my God.
I haven't been in a hot minute, honestly, but like great cash, like just good price points and like well-made clothes.
And like they're doing some sort of drugs there because it makes it, everything that they do, it's like perfectly flattering on everyone.
I know.
I don't know how they did that.
It's like universally flattering for sure. It's honestly amazing. And I honestly I love Zara. Like you just have to be mindful of what you're getting. I used to do like 20-piece Zara hauls like when I lived in New York and I would just order from Zara all the time. And now I'm like a lot more mindful about it just because like I don't want to just accumulate clothes that I wear one time. But you can find some good stuff there too, of course.
I think part of your frontal lobe developing is wanting less clothing.
Yeah. I mean, I still have way too much. It's disgusting.
Me too. By the way, my closet is the size of this room.
Same.
Like I live in Texas. Like I have so much clothes, but I mean, I'm less of like, I think of my early 20s and it's like I would do like a billion like printing. You probably have never shopped at Princess Polly.
I haven't, but I know it.
Okay, yeah. So like I would do like a billion, like your version of like Zara would be like Princess Polly. Like I would do so many of those hauls and I would just accumulate so much stuff.
Yeah.
And then it would just give me anxiety. And it was stuff that I didn't really love. Like now I feel like as I've like 25 on, I've really kind of grown into like my own style.
Yes.
And I have a very like distinct style that I like. And I just buy less stuff or I'm more willing to invest. Like Reformation is like, it not like, yes, it is like it's a good price point for what it is, but it isn't like if you're shopping at like Princess Polly.
No, it's still elevated.
It's still elevated. Sure. It's still like dresses are $200. Like it's not like a cheap place to shop by any means. But I would rather have one Reformation dress over like 6 things from Princess Polly.
Yeah, 100%.
But that being said, I've had amazing dresses from Princess Polly.
Yeah, and let's be clear, like I'm 32. Like I wasn't always shopping at like Net-a-Porter and Moda and My Teresa. Like it's evolved over time.
You're living life and we need to be leaning into this.
And like,
and I'm living
but
through
I've always
you.
spent like the most of my money on clothes. Like that's always just like my main expense. And I will say like my style is always evolving. Like your style evolution and finding your personal style, like it doesn't end. You just like hone in on it more and you refine it. And I think that I've done a lot of that like over the past, like probably since like COVID, I've done a lot of work on it.
Where do you get the most like style inspo?
This is like the most annoying answer, but like I try not to get style inspo anywhere. Like I try to like really look inward, like look at pieces like through my own eyes to really decide if they suit my personal style. Because I found that especially like 2019, 2020, 2021, probably, I was just like looking at what was cool and just going based off of like what I saw on Instagram or something like that. Like, oh, girls are buying this, so I'm going to buy this. I don't use Pinterest. Like, I don't really look at people for like style inspo anymore. Like I have people, like there are people who I follow whose style I think is amazing, but like I try to really like look at pieces that I own in like a very personal way and be like, how can I apply this to my personal style? Like, do I actually like this? And there's like still trendy things that I love. Like I am a hoe for micro shorts, but like, that's because I think they already fit into my style generally versus like I see all these really cute girls on TikTok and I can just tell that they're falling for micro trend after micro trend. And like, they look amazing, but like you're wearing that one time and then you're done with it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a lot of like really just thinking about what are your favorite pieces in your closet, like truly, truly favorite, like ignoring all the trends and then going from there.
I feel like it doesn't matter how incredible my closet is, how many clothes I wear. I'm always grabbing for the same like 5 pieces.
Yeah.
Like you have like your tried and true.
Yes. And like you have your uniform and you have outfit formulas that like, you know, work for you. And so it's honestly for me, like about expanding on those things versus trying to like fit new things in that might not necessarily resonate. Like I love a good like blazer or blazer dress moment. And like, it's not about finding a new type of jacket for me. It's about finding like maybe a new interesting shape or an interesting fabric or something that I know is going to work because I wear something else that's just like that.
Yeah. Perfect. What shoes are you wearing? Like, where are you grabbing for?
From like a more casual, like I love a sneaker. I still am an Adidas girl. I like my Onitsuka Tigers and like the chunky New Balance 9060s with like a wider leg jean or like a wide leg trouser I think looks super cool. I love a loafer, a simple loafer. Like I don't like any of my loafers that have hardware. I want a plain loafer.
I'm on that train right now too. I'm like, I was shopping for loafers the other day. I'm like, I want it to be the most basic, simple, nothing on it loafer you've ever seen.
I'm really not into anything with hardware. Like it feels not contrived because like I think that there's some really cool pieces. It's just like it feels way more specific, way more trendy, and like obviously, you know, a horsebit loafer is so classic. But then you are like overthinking it, like, oh, can I wear my silver belt with like my gold horsebit loaf? Like it's just not really worth it to me. I love a ballet flat.
Love
like
a ballet flat.
I've been a ballet flat girl since I got like my first pair of nice flats in high school. And like I used to go shop the shoe sale section at Barney's with my mom and like beg her for ballet flats. I'm really into a slingback heel or a mule. I don't wear super high heels unless it's like I have like a couple pairs of high heels that I love just because they look amazing on the foot. And then I love a boot. I love a Western boot. I love a kitten heel boot. Shoes are like my passion, so it's really hard to narrow down. I have so many shoes.
Where are you shopping for boots?
For a cowboy boot, it's all over the place. Like, I mean, we're in Texas. Most people don't need a cowboy boot. But I will say having a cowboy boot in your wardrobe is really fun, especially for like a little mini dress or like a little skirt in summer. I think it looks so cute no matter where you are. Tecovas, Lucchese. Obviously, I love Maren Crosby, but that's like very high end. For my other boots, Tony Bianco. The fantasy boot from Tony Bianco. It's like a square-toed heel knee-high boot. Amazing. I like to wear it both winter and summer. I think that wearing a knee-high boot in the summer is like kind of like an unexpected twist, like a simple outfit. I mean, your calves might sweat, but you know.
Especially here.
Yeah, but I sacrifice. And then like again on the higher end, like I think Kate makes amazing boots. The shape of them are just like the best. But I would say like Tony Bianco is like such a great go-to for, you know, a mid-range like looks designer, but isn't.
What about jewelry?
I love a brand called Their, Their. They make amazing like both everyday and statement pieces. These bangles that I wear all the time are from them and I'm obsessed with them.
Oh, that's really cute.
This is not, I fear, but
well, I like that.
Thank you. And then my stack has like evolved over time. Like this is more of like high-end jewelry, but like this has been like years and years and years of building. I love Their Orium and Heaven Mayhem for like the easy earrings. These earrings that I'm wearing right now are like little threader earrings. They're from At Present.
Ew.
Super cute brand. I'm trying to think of who else. Like there's so many fun jewelry brands that I've tried recently and I'm not
I really
thinking
love
of them.
Jenny Bird.
Jenny Bird is really
so
great
good.
stuff.
The really chunky like silver earrings I was wearing last night.
Yes.
Guys, these are picture the most massive earrings you've ever seen.
Very chic.
Okay. They're so cute. They're really cute too when you like pull your hair back. But I think Jenny Bird's like a really good price point, especially for what it is. Like I was such a Jennifer Fisher hoop girl for so long. And
I mean,
then
those
I realized
are the best hoops.
they're the best. But then I got Jenny Bird. I'm like, this is the same thing. And like a third of the price.
They're amazing, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. And the silver massive ones that I was wearing from Jenny Bird, I'm the biggest wimp. Like I can't wear heels. I wear kitten heels. That's it. Like I wore those all night, barely even noticed. And they were massive. Like Jenny Bird earrings.
I can't do a heavy earring.
No,
it's
I
just
can't.
painful.
And they're so light. Like I'm not kidding, guys. Like they're so, especially for me, like they're really big. And I didn't even notice I was wearing them. Like they're incredible.
No, they
I
looked
love
really
that.
cute last night.
They're the
It's so
best.
funny too, because I think for so long, like I would only wear like a big hoop and like a chunky earring, like what is so in now was like so cringe almost for so long. Like it just didn't resonate. And that's like another thing with style. Like you don't necessarily have to change like for what the trend is, but if it works for you, like take it or leave it and like don't worry about it if a trend isn't for you, but obviously embrace it if it is. And like don't feel bad about continuing to embrace it when people have moved on to something else.
Yeah. I think especially a good example of that would be Ballet flats.
Yeah. I've been wearing flats even when they weren't cool. Like love them. I also love a slim cut jean.
Sue me.
Like, sorry. Like I like
skinny?
an ankle.
You wear skinny jeans?
Yeah.
Like actual?
Not like tight skinny jeans, but I have a lot of like very slim cut, like straight leg jean that like hits right above the ankle. And there's probably like an inch of space. So it's not like tight to me, but like that silhouette just works on me.
Yeah.
Like think about like the kind of jeans Morgan Stewart wears a lot of.
Literally so obsessed with her. She's
so cool.
insane. She is the coolest woman that's ever existed.
Yeah, I love her.
Obsessed. Did you watch Rich Kids of Beverly Hills?
I did, yeah.
Okay, like I'm not a reality TV girl at
Same.
all, but I watched that. And that's when I like fell in love with Morgan Stewart.
Yeah,
And
I mean, she's always been that bitch.
She has always been that bitch. She's so
I love
cool.
her. And we're mutuals on TikTok, which is like my biggest flex.
That's actually the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I know. That was the best day of my life when she followed me.
No, that's actually incredible.
Sorry, Chad.
No. It was like Morgan Stewart following me on TikTok and then the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so take us through, like, do you have like a daily routine? Are you like a morning routine, night routine girl?
Yeah, I'm a morning routine girl.
Okay, take
everything
us
goes to
through.
shit at night. Like,
Yeah, same. I need every single detail of your morning routine.
okay. So I wake up at 6 or 6:30, depending on what time my Pilates class is. I go to Pilates most days, or I'll go to a class at like Equinox. My Hatch wakes me up with morning birds.
Love.
I love my Hatch. Like, this is becoming a Hatch promo. Then I get up. I wake up an hour before like my workout class. I do my skincare routine. I will go to my workout and then I will go to Equinox. I will walk on the treadmill for an hour and read my Kindle. I'm like in a big reading era.
You read a lot of fantasy.
I do.
I
It's
need
just
to like
like-
get on the fantasy wave.
I loved Harry Potter growing up and like I loved Twilight.
Yeah.
And then I like stopped reading and then I would read like thrillers. But like they didn't like, I liked them, but I wasn't like excited for the next book ever. You know, I'd like figure out what I was going to read next. And just, I read Fourth Wing and Avatar last summer and it changed my life.
Take us through like your top 5 fantasy recs.
Okay. It is, my favorite series of all time is Throne of Glass, which is the same author as A Court of Thorns and Roses. But that's like, it's like a 9-book series or something. It's maybe 7 or 8. I don't know. It's a lot of books. It's 10,000 pages worth of reading. Like it's crazy, but that's my favorite. And then it's probably ACOTAR and then Fourth Wing. And then I would say there's this duology called One Dark Window and then Two Twisted Crowns, I want to say. That was really good. Very like beautifully written. And then I would say either Crescent City, which is another series written by the ACOTAR author, Sarah J. Maas, or this book that I read at the beginning of this year called Metal Slinger that was really good.
Do you think Sarah J. Maas like ever sleeps? She's written like
She's
40
sleeping
books.
lately because she has not released a book in a long time. And I just joined the train. I can't even imagine being like a fan for years and years and years. And like you're waiting and waiting. Because apparently like ACOTAR 6 is going to come out, but like we don't know when.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know because she used to be really like for the first part of her career, she was releasing a book a year and these were like 800-page books. Like insane. I don't know how she does it. She like intertwines all the worlds of her books and like I feel like everything that she writes is so intentional. Like it all comes full circle. Like nothing's a mistake. So I have a lot of respect. Like she's like the Taylor Swift of authors.
She really is. Easter eggs everywhere.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, so you're on your treadmill. You're reading your fantasy book for an hour.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm losing my... And then I go and get my Francs.
Of course.
I'll either do a Francs latte or a Francs matcha. Depending, I'm really into the Bloom energy drink right now. So if I had the Bloom like before my workout, I'll probably do a matcha versus a latte. It just kind of depends on the day. I usually go to the Meteor for that because that's my favorite spot to get coffee in town. And then I come home and I start my work day. And I basically work like my Garrett job the vast majority of the day. Like if I have to film like an ad or like I have an idea for a TikTok or something, like I'll take breaks here and there just like you would with any job. And then I'm at home. Like Chad's usually gone. Like he works from home, but like for Franc stuff, he's usually out of the house. And I'll hang out with Dante like on the couch and work for most of the day. And then I'll either like grab dinner with friends or Chad and I will do dinner. We order in a lot. I'm not a huge cooker, unfortunately. I wish I were. And then we'll watch a show, but I've been so into reading that like no shows are doing it for me. Chad won't watch Severance. So like I haven't started the new season of Severance yet because like I'm not motivated to watch anything alone. And then I go to bed early. Like I like to be in bed by 9.
Same.
It's a really boring day for the most part. Like it is, I am a creature of habit. And
Me
like
too.
I love going and like seeing my friends. Like we'll do like a 5 p.m. like let's go get wine or something, but like not usually.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I like to be in bed early.
Yeah.
Last thing we need to talk about is if he wanted to, he would. Because her husband, which like really is you too. like the way it's phrased, I'm like, well, it's also you guys are in. If you guys are unaware, there is this like alternative non-dairy milk.
Yes.
Francs, okay? And everyone loves it. It's amazing. It's in Austin. You can actually get it at the Meteor in Dallas. You guys are growing. It's going to be other places.
Yes.
But the owner was shutting it down. It was like Hannah's favorite part of her morning. And she's like, we need this. And so they literally buy the company.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted to, he would.
If he wanted to, he would.
And guys, that doesn't mean that your man has to buy you a company. It just shows that he can text you back.
Yeah. No, he can text you back. Yeah.
If he's in you, he'll text you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was so devastated when Franc shut down. And it's like, it's a super clean nut milk and it's also delicious. And it was just like my favorite part of my day. And I was so upset. I was like, I'm never getting coffee out again. Like I'm really dramatic at times, like whatever. And Chad was like, I want to be able to have coffee with my wife again. Like he loves going out for coffee. And I was like, well, there's nowhere that has coffee that I want to drink. And so we brought the brand back, which is so excited. And now like, obviously we have high ambitions for what we can do with it while like obviously maintaining the quality and like integrity of the product.
It tastes amazing. It is actually so good.
Thank you.
It's such a sweet story too.
I know.
Did you guys just like find the owner?
We knew who she was. Like
Okay.
she lives here in Austin, like super, involved. Like I think a lot of people knew her and we partnered with the owner of the Meteor to bring it back.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Actually so good.
I know. It's really fun.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to have come.
No,
like
this has been
flew
so
by.
fun. I know, it really flew by. This has been like actually so fun. So where can they find you? Francs, everything.
I am at Hannah CHODY on Instagram and TikTok, at Hannah_CHODY on YouTube. Francs is at Fresh Francs. It's available a ton of places in Austin, the Meteor in Dallas, and more cities coming soon. Yay. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.